All right, lads. A lot of news has been coming out. Probably the greatest book franchise to ever be made into movies. Harry Potter is getting a TV show. Now, little did you know, Gavin is the biggest book nerd I ever knew. You know, this kid read all the Harry Potter books. He read multiple book franchises. I was not, the biggest book reader in middle school. I did not read the books, unfortunately. I'll probably get to it because this show is expected to come out in 2027. But he's probably one of the biggest Harry Potter fans of all time in my eyes. So I wanted to do this intro, just kind of lay it out for him, and he's going to give a lot of details. I'll give my little takes here and there. I'm interested to learn too. I'm not going to just sit here, but I'm excited to hear your take on this, because there's been a lot of news coming out, a lot of interesting creative choices being made about this show. So I can't wait to hear a lot of your takes, but I can't wait to bounce off as well and learn a lot about this show that's coming out. The kids are getting posted. A lot of pictures are being posted and a lot of talks about the sets and stuff. So I'm very interested to learn more about sort of the Harry Potter lore and the franchise, but let's get into it, man. What do you think about all the news coming out about Harry Potter? What do you think about the cast, about the kids being casted, how they look, and how soon this is kind of coming to fruition, since the movies were really literally made 13 years ago?
Yeah, okay, so when we're talking about the movie series, the last movie came out in 2014. So the movie series literally ended 11 years ago. 11 years is not enough time for most normal franchises to get a full-on reboot. Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter, Emma Watson, who played Hermione Granger, and Rupert Grint, who played Ronald Weasley. These guys are old enough to play their characters at the end of the story when they were all graduated and had kids and sending their kids off, and old enough, honestly, to play their play adaptations in The Cursed Child, which is J.K. Rowling's play following the son of Harry Potter and their kids and everybody as they're grown up. Their actors are old enough to play those characters now.
Which is crazy. You
usually get to see this reboot when you've got them way down the line and all these characters are now gray haired and you couldn't look at them to come back. But you could look at any of those characters and go, oh, well, they could come back and play characters in this new one. And so far that's not been announced, which for the time being is fine. It's not great. We'll talk about that in more detail later.
I could already tell you're already upset.
It's all right. So it's not great. I'm going to level with you. It's not great. And I'm going to tell you later on who I wish you would have brought back and for what roles, but we'll get there.
Facts.
The first thing that was announced when this was done, J.K. Rowling came out and said the reason for doing this is because the movies missed so much. And every time I went to go see one of the movies, and I love the movies, okay? I really do. Even the old ones where they started out in the Sorcerer's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets, and they didn't really have much budget, and the books were just starting to gain traction, and it wasn't this worldwide phenomenon where people piled into movie theaters just waiting for the next movie to come out. And I was one of those people. When the 8th movie came out, they did a full day movie marathon. Started at 6 a.m.
Oh my God.
Started with the Sorcerer's Stone. And they played all 7 movies up until midnight. And then at midnight, they played the 8th movie. I was there from 6 a.m. until midnight. And then I watched the final movie. That's how big the Harry Potter movies were. And even though I loved them that much, they still missed so much from the books. So when J.K. Rowling came out and said, listen, we're doing the TV show because even though I really love what they did with the movies, they missed a lot. And that's the reason we're doing it, is to basically do it right by the books. And the books are the first thing that I fell in love with anyway. The books are fantastic. And there are characters and characteristics that are completely missed in the movies. Peeves the ghost, how intense Hermione really is, and other things I'll get into later. But those are things you don't get to see in the movies. So that right there for me was the A-OK, all right. if J.K. Rowling's going to be involved and she's going to make sure that the cast, that the story, that everything that goes into this is true to the books and the story that comes out of the books, then I'm totally fine with it. I wasn't thrilled because I love the movies and I love the books so much that I want it to be a project that's is kind of untouched if you're not going to do it right. But her direct involvement makes me feel a little bit better. And then the cast list came out, and we're going to just dive right into this. Okay, so Harry Potter is going to be played by Dominic McLaughlin. Initially, when I saw his cast photo, and we talked about this in the office the other day, I looked at this kid and I went, he is not my favorite. Couple days later, they released a set picture of him in his robes and, with the tousled up hair and the glasses and the scar on his head. And I looked at it and went, oh, okay, all right. I kind of see it.
Looked amazing. Come on. It was pretty good. It
did look amazing. And a lot of it for these character castings, and I'm going to talk about it in a second because she's the last on my list to get talked about for a reason, is personality. So I'm gonna hold off on that thought for one second. Ron is going to be played by Alistair Stout, which, by the way, that's the most amazing name I've ever heard in my entire life. Alistair Stout? Dude, you sound like a friggin' warrior. Okay? And I realize you're playing a Weasley, but Alistair Stout? Come on.
He's the cutest little lad ever. Out of all of them, Alistair is definitely like my favorite. Like, are you kidding me? He was the perfect Ron to be casted. You can't deny that. Based on looks.
No, I mean, based on looks alone, I saw the picture and I went, that is Ronald Weasley. I can see him as Ronald Weasley right now. Perfect. Okay. So Ron, I think they absolutely got perfect. Hermione is going to be played by Arabella Stanton.
Which is another beautiful name, by the way. Another beautiful name.
It's a great name. Great name. Dominic, this is no, dog on you, but these guys have, kind of magnificent names. Anyway, not important. Hermione is so important because Emma Watson did such a good job. And part of the reason why Emma Watson did such a good job playing Hermione is because part of her personality really was Hermione. I mean, she just was Hermione. Around the set, there's all kinds of videos of her going around and showing up the boys, showing up Tom Felton and Dan Radcliffe and Rupert Grint on homework and assignments given by the director and all sorts of things, and truly embodying the personality of Hermione. So I like the look of Arabella Stanton as Hermione, but the thing that sold me on her as Hermione was the audition tape that they released.
It was perfect.
They released it, and her personality was so much Emma Watson, so much Hermione, that I went, that's Hermione. Perfect. You gave me so many Emma Watson vibes and so many Hermione vibes. I'm immediately locked in. You nailed her casting, and I don't even care. She didn't look a darn thing like Emma Watson or like, what I would have pictured for the second round of casting, because when you cast these roles, it's not as much about the look, it's about the personality. And her personality, just from that little audition tape, which was only 2 minutes long or something, the vibe that you get is that she is Hermione Granger. And that's so important for this story.
And I think, that's what I loved about them releasing that tape, is because a lot of people say it happens all the time when they do reboot franchise and stuff like that. They're like, no, this person is my, whatever that character is. Like, I only think of that person as my character. It's just like the Henry Cavill with the David Cornsweet argument. Like, you have these Zack Snyder fans that are like, I can't accept this as a new Superman, but there's 7 different renditions of Superman. But the fact that they put her audition tape out there, it made me so confident and honestly excited to see her play Hermione, because everyone loved Emma Watson's rendition of Hermione. But it's when you see that audition tape, I cannot wait to watch this show, because not only I know we have questions on how Harry Potter looks with the Dominic McLaughlin. But at the same time, Hermione is such an important character to that trio, in my opinion. And I thought they nailed it. And I can't wait to see her play it. And I love that they had the confidence enough to do that. And I love how they had the confidence enough to put these things out there to the public. And like I said, I'm excited that they're doing a TV show because it's going to give them more time and it's going to give them more opportunities to do things. But I loved that they came out with her audition tape because that's how much trust they have in her to do a great job and to maybe even do better than Emma Watson did as Hermione, because she's going to have so much more material, like you're going to talk about probably like later on.
Yes, we will get to that eventually because Hermione is one of the more layered characters in the Harry Potter story. And we'll get to that. But next, we're going to go to the side character casting. Now, the big three is where I was really thrilled. The side characters is where I lose a little bit of hope, and not on every single one. So let's not get too bummed out too quickly. But I do have some complaints. Okay, Draco Malfoy was always going to be hard to cast. Lox Pratt was the guy who got cast to play Draco Malfoy. I actually like him as Draco Malfoy. He's got the look of somebody who can really embody the bully that Draco Malfoy is. So I'm good there. Nick Frost had his picture released in the Rubius Hagrid getup. I like
good.
It looks great.
Everyone got hyped.
Robbie Coltrane will always hold a place in my heart. And when he passed away, may he rest in peace, it was devastating because Hagrid is one of the most beloved characters next to somebody I'm going to mention later in the entire franchise. And so it was essential that you cast somebody good. My one withholding part is that I haven't seen Nick Frost do something that requires him to be as warm, is the adjective I'm going to use, as Hagrid has to be. And he really does have to be that warm, welcoming, loving presence on the screen. So I like the way he looks. I need his personality to stack up to what Hagrid requires. Next is Albus Dumbledore, who, honestly, you could have cast the same guy. This is one of those we should have just recast. I loved the last Dumbledore, and he's supposed to be old, okay? He's supposed to be old.
God.
Don't give me any of this nonsense about, well, he couldn't be recast because he's old. He is old in the... Come on.
He would have been more than happy to do it too.
He would have been thrilled to come back. I mean, I
do agree with you on that. It's only, 13 years out. Not even, it's 13 years out from 14 from the last film. So it's like, if he's still acting, he's still ready to do it. I feel like you could do him as Dumbledore again, but they decided to go a different route, which is going to be a risk, but at the same time, you got to accept it.
And here's the problem. Okay. It's not that I, again, don't like John Lithgow, okay, which is who got cast, but I haven't seen him play a Dumbledore type role that I thought he really, really just nailed. And Dumbledore's another one of those beloved characters. I mean, his interactions with Harry, his interactions with Ron and Hermione, his interactions with the other students, his interactions with Professor McGonagall and Snape and all these other characters, it makes him such an essential part of the story that if he isn't pitch perfect, then his character is going to be ruined. So John Lithgow has a lot of weight on his shoulders for this role. And I hope that he does a fantastic job. I do. I don't want him in any way to come up short, but you have a tall task ahead of you. The next is one of my most beloved characters of the entire franchise, period. You were never going to cast anybody right, okay? And I'll tell you who I wanted that would have come close. I wanted Adam Driver.
Yes.
Now, Adam Driver is a big enough actor.
Driver.
Everybody wanted Adam Driver. He looks like Severus Snape, okay? And he's a phenomenal actor. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Instead, I'm going to talk about the fact that Alan Rickman, one of the greatest actors
Yeah. Oh.
killed the performance. Just, I mean, he was so amazing. His performance as Severus Snape will forever be iconic. I mean, people are still doing references to his thing. I've got a tattoo on my left calf for Harry Potter that says always, because of his line from that movie. Don't you dare laugh at me. Because Severus Snape was one of the best characters in that story, and he played the role so well.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why Gavin is talking about this more than I am right now.
Well,
and that is the reason why.
Okay. Anyway. And I'm going to butcher the pronouncing of this guy's name, and I'm so sorry. As you're in the show more, we can do more with it.
Yeah.
Papa Esidu, I think, is as close as I'm going to get.
That's actually good.
So I hope you do a fantastic job. And I'm not writing you off by any means, but it was going to be hard for anybody to live up to Alan Rickman. And that's nothing negative against you. It's just that he did such a good job that I have high expectations. Lucius Malfoy is going to be played by Johnny Flynn. I don't hate the look, and he's not a minor character, but as long as you can get somebody who can embody that personality well, I think you're fine. Professor McGonagall. Okay. Professor McGonagall is the mother figure to these kids. Maggie Smith, one of the greatest British actresses.
Oh my goodness.
Is not to be undersold in her role as Professor McGonagall. Janet McTeer, you have eons to live up to. I was just hyping up Alan Rickman. Guess what? Janet, your plate is overflowing with responsibility. Okay, like, I'm not even, like, this is ridiculous.
The amount of pressure that you're putting on, like, these people, it's like insane. Okay.
But
I know, but
you have to live up to the performance of Maggie Smith. You have a lot, okay? You have a lot. And she did such a good job. And Professor McGonagall was the teacher I wanted in every class that I went to, because she was so good. The two castings that I saved for the last, because I absolutely hated them and I think you got them wrong, is Catherine Parkinson as Mrs. Weasley and Daniel Rigby as Vernon Dursley. Vernon Dursley is supposed to be this fat lard and just despicable guy who is unpleasant at every turn. Daniel Rigby does not look like that.
I did not know they casted Daniel Rigby as
they
wow.
Will. And it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. He's supposed to be the guy that makes Harry's life miserable, and you're supposed to detest him the entire time. I can't see it. I'm sorry. It's not good for me.
That's kind of questionable.
Catherine Parkinson, you can throw a red wig on her or whatever. I still don't think she's right for Mrs. Weasley. It's up to you to prove me wrong. Okay? I'm not for it. It's not whatever. Now we're going to talk about the most important potential casting of this TV show.
Yeah,
and it's the essential casting of the TV show.
We talked
about the three essential casting and the kids. This could make or break the show. And it's Voldemort. And they are not announcing it. I, A, think this is the right decision, and B, am terrified of who they cast. Because we have no idea. The sarcastic suggestion going around online is that it's Pedro Pascal. And I promise you, if it comes out and it's Pedro Pascal, I'm not watching this show, because Pedro Pascal as Voldemort is despicable. Okay. Just because he's hitting a nice acting stride does not mean Pedro Pascal needs to be in everything. He's not my Mr. Fantastic. And until he proves me otherwise, that will remain true. He's also not my Voldemort. All right. It's not. Brett, I know you said you had some thoughts on this, so I'll let you take that one for a second. But like, Pedro is Voldemort, just no. Absolutely no.
I mean, that is the funniest. If it's Pedro Pascal, I'm not watching the show. It's just so funny. Here's my thing, okay? And I saw that it could be Cillian Murphy. Now, I love Cillian Murphy to death, but I don't know if like that's necessarily the right move for the Harry Potter universe. I don't know if he could play Voldemort, but we'll see.
I actually don't hate Cillian Murphy as Voldemort. If he is, it's going to be a very sinister Voldemort. And so you're going to have to, especially early on interactions with Harry Potter, you're going to have to play around that well. But I don't hate Cillian as Voldemort. Yeah. I don't.
And who knows? They probably like maybe have already casted this and like we just don't know. They probably already did. But I don't really have a strong opinion on who it should be, but you're kind of right. Like if it is Pedro Pascal, like that's, I mean, the show is cooked.
Well, right, you did such a good job with so many of your other castings. Like to get the biggest casting of the show wrong, come on, like no.
Here's like one thing I'll say, just by like you reading the cast list and like how important these characters mean to the show. I think that's one thing that could like make or break the show. Every single character has a warm place in like every Harry Potter's fan's heart. And it's like if you screw up on like Snape, for example, if that character doesn't live up to what the previous rendition of the character did before for like other fans and stuff, it's gonna be hard for people to buy in and accept that like this is like what we needed for the Harry Potter universe, and they're always gonna go back to the show. And then who knows? The thing is, we want this show to live on. Like, we don't want this show. The show isn't going to get canceled, I don't think. I don't think you can cancel this show. I don't think you can stop it. But like we're going to talk about before, they are spending a lot of money on this show. So, the thing is, for it to be good, everybody's got to live up to what they did previously. And that's what I'm kind of harping about. Like, you going through each cast list and being like, I don't kind of like see it. I don't understand it. Like Vernon Dursley, for example. These are very important characters. Like every side character has to play their role perfectly to make this show like what it is. And like you said, like Dumbledore, for example. Like Dumbledore was done perfectly in the movies. It's like for you to, it's like John Lithgow has a huge responsibility on his hands to play that character. You're talking about the responsibility and how much pressure is on these actors and actresses. It's like, this is big time. Like, and if they don't like live up to it, it could honestly ruin the whole show. And in my opinion, I look at it like the side characters are the pillars of the show and they keep the thing going. I trust in the main characters that they've casted, and I think they're gonna like get it right. It's just the side characters are just as important, and there's a lot of foreshadowing in Harry Potter, and there's a lot of importance to get these side characters right, and the relationships that they build with the main characters too. It's gonna be very important. And hearing you kind of talk about it, and I do like that they kept Voldemort a secret, but at the same time, we're in 2025. I feel like everything gets figured out like nowadays. But it is a good creative decision, and I'm happy for it.
Is a long time to keep that secret. 2 years. I mean, I don't know. Are you keeping it a secret that long? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, so hopefully it doesn't get leaked if that's 100% the plan. But that's a long time.
Exactly. And it is probably the most important character to be casted. But at the same time, I do trust their creative decision on whoever they choose. And I do have trust in these actors that they've chosen to play all of these characters. It's just, like you talk about, they have to live up to a huge standard that the movies put out. And if, yes, you're giving us more content with the TV show, but at the same time, if they don't live up to it, then we're just getting a lot of content that like is going to either anger people, or they're just going to be like watching it and thinking about, oh my goodness, I miss the previous actor that was playing the previous character. That's going to be a problem I think that the show is going to have, and that's the problem with every reboot franchise that you're going to have. But if they do live up to the billing and they do get it right, it could be probably one of the greatest things we see. And it's going to, like, Harry Potter fans are going to go crazy for it. So that's the give and take I wanted to talk about.
Like, the movies have lived on. The books have lived on. Your purpose of doing this show is to create something that's as memorable that you want it to live on as much as the movies and the books have. So to do that, you've got to execute all of these things well. One of the other things that I think that they're doing well, because they've announced that they're filming all of season 1 and all of season 2 before the release of the first season in 2027, which is our official release date. And the reason that they said they're doing this is to avoid the Stranger Things effect, which is Millie Bobby Brown and Sadie Sink and all the other actors that are involved with that show coming back and playing 15-year-olds as 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds as 26-year-olds and 20-year-olds as 32-year-olds.
It's terrible. It's not good. It's not good.
It doesn't look like they're the kids that they're supposed to be playing, and it's taking them way too long to do it. So this idea of staying ahead of production, so that way when the actors that are playing Harry, Ron, and Hermione are 15, they're in their 5th year like they're supposed to be. And when, they're in the 7th movie and they're 17, about to turn 18, or a little older, but not, 30, that's a good thing, because then they're actually closer to the age that they're supposed to be representing, instead of what happened in the movies. Daniel Radcliffe did a great job, but there was a little something odd about 18-year-old Harry Potter. We don't have video yet, so you can't see me sarcastically throwing up air quotes. Soon you'll be able to. But 18-year-old Harry Potter showing up to a face-off with Lord Voldemort with a 5 o'clock shadow on his face. Yeah. Okay, like, I'm sorry, and I love Daniel Radcliffe. I'm not dogging on you, Dan, but like, it's weird to be like, why does Dan look like he's 30? Why does 18-year-old Harry Potter look like he's ready to go for a pint after a long 8-hour shift at his accounting job? Like, what are we doing? It needs to not be that way. And I love Daniel Radcliffe. I do. He played a great Harry Potter, but the fact that they're doing this to keep ahead of things is great, because then we don't have that, and it ensures that we're getting this content regularly. And you don't get the Game of Thrones effect either, where they go, well, we filmed season 1 and season 2 and 3 are already bought, but we haven't started production, so it could be 2 years until you get the next season. No. Season 2 is already filmed, and while season 1 is releasing, we're finishing production on it and filming season 3. And then as season 2 is releasing, we're filming season 4. And so they're always ahead of everything. So that way there's no chance of, oh, well, we've got to take like a 3-year break where there's not going to be any show. And that's, I think that's the way that long form 10-year long projects like this need to be done.
Yes. And I totally agree with you. I mean, the Stranger Things effect is for real. I mean, the fact that we haven't gotten that show out in, I can't even remember. I think it came out in 2022. I mean, the fact that we haven't gotten the finale season for Stranger Things yet is nuts. And I get it. They're trying to make it, the biggest it can possibly be. But this is how you have to treat a show like this. You know how important this is to Warner Bros., to everything. You have to go all in, and you have to let that know to J.K. Rowling, to the producer, to everybody on that show, that you're on this for the long haul. Like, you will be compensated, you will be ready, you will be fine, but you're going to be doing this we're going to film season 1 and season 2, and we are going to go all in on this show. And I think that's what gives me more hope. It's like they understand the fans and some of the gripes they had with the movies. Like you said, with Daniel Radcliffe having a 5 o'clock shadow, and then he's about to go ready to get a pint after, fighting Voldemort. It's like, I completely get it and from where you're coming from. But at the same time, if they are able to pull this off in a in a good way, it's going to be awesome. And to be honest, these kids are going to be remembered forever because they're going to have so much content of being Hermione, Ron, and Harry, like when they're kids. And it might mean more to Harry Potter fans because you're going to see this and you're going to be like, wow, this is amazing. And then when they grow up and they get older, you know, it's not going to be like, you're going to see them as teenagers and it's going to be accurately represented as it was in the books. And I think that's the biggest thing that I love about hearing this news is they are fully committed. And you came out with news that the sets and how much money they're putting into this. I mean, it's insane. I mean, $250 million, like $500 million, like pretty much spent on the whole entire budget of the show. And you can kind of talk about it a little bit more because you're going to give more details about it, but they basically rebuilt Hogwarts. I mean, it's insane. And I love it too, because I think it's a better environment for the kids, for everybody involved in the show. And go into detail, man. I mean, it's nuts.
Well, yeah. I mean, so when they announced this, I was actually a little floored. But they came back and basically said, "Hey, we rebuilt a Hogwarts. We also built a school next to it for the kids to attend." And I went, "You not only did you rebuild Hogwarts, but you built a school for them to go to. So these kids don't have to worry about, well, we're going to be filming all year, so we're going to have to put off education. We're going to have to, try and balance this with our lives or anything else." They're going like, no. We got you covered on everything. And yes, it is a huge budget. And the estimated amount that they're spending on this show is insane, because between the actors and the producers, directors, and just normal film costs, on top of the fact that you're basically building 2 full-scale schools for all this filming, and not to mention the locations that they're going to have to go to for some of the filming, especially as they get further down the line and we do the Triwizard Tournament and the Order of the Phoenix and all sorts of other stuff. The cost of the show is going to be insane, but it also shows how dedicated they are to making this show everything that it can be. Hey, we're going to need 10 years of your kids' lives and of your family's lives and all this, but we're building an environment that they can thrive in instead of having to struggle around. Because we saw that, Dan and Rupert and Emma all had a kind of tough time because they were trying to balance going back and forth in between school and try and live normal lives and all this other stuff. Don't worry about it. We have a school. We're good. Oh, and we're going to rebuild a whole new Hogwarts set so that way it's exactly as J.K. Rowling pictured it. Done. Okay. That kind of dedication just shows me exactly how much they are putting into the show, how much they are putting the effort into the actors, to the story, to the reality that it needs to be like the books. That when they first announced this project, I started out as 2080 in and out on the project. All this information has me much, much, much more towards, I just can't wait to see what they've done. I am still a little skeptical, I think, as I'm going to be until I watch a whole season of this. But everything that they're doing makes me excited about the fact that they're doing it and the way they're doing it and all of the other things, which is a great segue to go into. We're going to get to see characters the way we've never seen them before. And I brought this up to you before we started recording. Hermione, and seeing her character the way that she is in the books, is going to be such a shock for people who've only ever seen the movies, which is why I can't wait for you to read the books, because you're gonna find out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on book report duty.
Kind of devious. When Harry Potter goes and creates Dumbledore's army, they have a sign-up sheet. And in the movie, the kids just come and sign the sheet and everything's fine. And they all just think they're signing up for Dumbledore's army and they're learning to protect themselves and all this other stuff. And it's a nice little moment. In the book, Hermione has cursed the quill, the ink, and the paper so that anybody that signs it and then tells Professor Umbridge or anybody else about the club, they get extremely physically disfigured permanently. And that's kind of a
Little
short
details.
look into Hermione and who she is in the books. And it's so different, but it's a big deal because it's who she is. And it's like you said, it's the little details, but they make such a big difference because it changes her character. Because in the movies, you kind of see her withheld and, you know, she's incredibly intelligent, but she's not that in your face and outgoing and all this other stuff. And I'm telling you, people are not ready for the book version of Hermione, and she is going to be wicked intense. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. And Percy Weasley has one of the most insane storylines. And this is one of those times I'm not going to spoil anything because J.K. Rowling's already said we're getting Percy Weasley's storyline. So I'm not saying squat. It's insane. Go read the book. His story is crazy. And I can't wait to see it. But these are the kinds of things that get me the most excited because we've never seen them. I mean, Hermione's true nature in the book is something that we never got to see. It's not something you get to experience without reading the book. And that's the purpose of this show, is to go, okay, so everything you missed, we're coming back, we're addressing, we're fully fledging out. We're going to tell the biggest, best version of this story as possible.
Yeah, and that's what gets me excited too. Hearing you talk about a person that's, you know, read the books multiple times, and hear you talk about these details because even when I watched the movies, I go, oh my goodness, can't wait to see this. But then they fade in and then kind of go into something else. It's like, wait, why didn't we get more on that? And they're like, read the books. It's like, now that we're going to be able to get these details and these storylines that you talked about that weren't able to be touched on because these books are so dense and there's so many storylines that need to be touched. And I know why they didn't touch them, because you only have 2.5 hours to kind of tell a 500-page story. It's going to be difficult. But at the same time, when they're putting this much effort and they're letting you know about all of the storylines and the content that they're going to produce for the fans, it's going to be nuts. And hearing you talk about Hermione, for example, like, I looked at Hermione, I mean, as Emma Watson's Hermione, I was like, okay, they did a great job. Like, everybody loved her rendition of the character. Like, this is great. But then hearing you talk about it and how serious and how creative J.K. Rowling got with her in the books, and how much more ruthless, I would say, if that's the best word to describe her, how ruthless she was in the books, that gets me excited. Because I love when not only are you doing more, but you're surprising me and you're doing things that, like, I didn't even think about. I'm going to try and read the books, okay? I'm going to try my best.
You should try and read the books. They're a worthwhile read. And for all of you out there, the first book is like, I don't even think it's 300 pages. Now, when you get further down in the series and you're reading The Order of the Phoenix and The Goblet of Fire and some of those books, they are hefty. I'm not going to lie to you. Picking up the book, it's heavy. Okay,
dude, I got intimidated in middle school. Okay, you look at The Goblet of Fire, and it's like, I could not.
It's huge.
I just could not read that.
I
could not read that.
It's huge. I get it. Like, it's a big book, but it's also a worthwhile read, and it introduces you to so many of these characters and these stories, which brings me to an excellent point, which I think we need to talk about: HBO's new format for shows.
Yeah.
When we did shows back in the day, I'm going to bring up the longest running show that I watched when I was a teenager, and that's Supernatural. 16 seasons, I think. 24 episodes every season, 45 minutes. So you're looking at, I mean, weeks worth of
nuts
footage.
I mean, it's
weeks.
Crazy.
Nowadays, you get 4 to 12 episodes every season, max. And that's kind of your tip-off point. A lot of shows like Game of Thrones will have 6. Sometimes they'll be an hour long. Sometimes they won't even get to an hour. There are some sitcoms that do 6 20-minute episodes. Champ, that's basically a movie, okay? It's not a TV show. It's basically a movie. If we get 6 episodes and that's all we get, your episodes better be an hour and a half long. If you're gonna do more, and I really do think that this is the operative, I want 12. I want 12 episodes every season, but if you're going to shortchange me at all, 10 is the least amount that I would be happy with, and each of them need to be an hour long, especially when you get into later seasons. That's an hour for every 100 pages in the book, okay? And that's, again, that's being a little frugal. I want 12 episodes.
It has to be at least 10. They can't shortchange this. Don't give me the Marvel TV show five episodes. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do something like that. Like, and it's not like I'm dissing Marvel or anything from like that standpoint.
No,
you're giving us 5 hours of content.
If you're doing this for the purpose of telling the book's true story, don't shortchange yourself on time.
Don't shortchange it at all. Don't shortchange it at all. It's you have to give this time, and you have to give it the thing that everybody is still mad about. And I will bring this up. House of Dragons is one of the most disappointing seasons of television of all time. You need to do at least 10 episodes for this TV show. This is probably your biggest product that you have at Warner Bros. You have. Well,
let's talk about HBO Max for a second. House of Dragon was supposed to be their revival after Game of Thrones, right? Like, that was supposed to be their huge project, and it's been flopping hard. Now, ever since they announced Harry Potter for HBO Max, they've gotten people to come back. They've rebranded, and they're still just bleeding money. I'm telling you right now, HBO, this is the project that either saves you or kills you as a company. If you do this right, I mean, Warner Bros. Is still making millions and millions and millions of dollars off of Harry Potter every single year. HBO, if you nail this, this is up 800% viewing on everything you've ever done.
Everything. You're going to have people doing marathons. Like movie marathon into TV show. When you give the nerds what they want, they give it right back, okay? Like they just love it and they're obsessed with it. You will have watch parties. You will have I remember going to a Game of Thrones watch party. I didn't even watch the show up until that point, and I had the best time of my life. There was drinks everywhere. Everyone was having a good time. You're going to be having Harry Potter Sundays. All right, everybody. New season Harry Potter's out. Let's get it. 10 episodes, 10 weeks of our lives, 2 months. It's going to be electric. You have to do it. Do 10 episodes. Give us everything. Go all out. We're having questions with some of the casting, but if they nail this, if they just give it their all, and everybody will, because of how much is at stake right now and how much they're putting into this. I mean, they built 2 schools, Gavin. They built 2 schools for these kids to live in Hogwarts, basically, and then go and do their jobs. They're basically already living a 9-to-5 lifestyle. It's insane. So it's that side of it, and how much they're putting into it and how much commitment they're showing. If they can just get this right, it will be one of the greatest things of our generation, because we love these books. We love this storyline. I mean, there's a whole entire goddamn theme park built at Universal for Harry Potter. So if you get this right, not only are you going to be making a lot of money, but don't do it for the money. Do it for the fans. Do it for everybody that cares about Harry Potter, like my man Gavin. Don't have my man Gavin disappointed. The last thing I want and need in my life is Gavin not having a good Harry Potter TV show, okay? I just can't have that.
I've got my robes in the closet. I literally have Harry Potter robes in my closet, okay? I am ready to wear them, take out the wand. I've got the dress robes. I've got everything, okay? I'm ready. I'm ready for the show. a year and a half ago when you first announced this, I was not interested at all. And congratulations, you've made a lot of the right moves to get me on board. Keep me on board. Keep making good decisions and keep pressing this forward until this is the thing that every year I'm clamoring for the release. I am sitting outside in my living room. Refresh when I know that, right, when I know an episode's about to drop. I want to be that excited about this show every single year. And if you do a good job, I promise you, I am going to be. I mean, we started this podcast with me telling you I sat in a movie theater for basically 18 to 20 hours out of a day for the movies. If you can do as good of a job with the TV shows, I will be watching these all the time. I love this story. I love these characters. You guys are on the right track and you've made a lot of good moves to keep this going in the right direction. And I think that if you keep doing this and you keep making the right decisions and you keep investing this kind of excitement and involvement and money and attention to detail and everything into it, it can be something really great. And not to sound too cheesy here, little magical. Let's make it magical.
Make it magical. Come on.
You can do it. I know you can. The whole story is built to be that way. You just have to execute it right. Stick with us and do it the right way, so that way we've got something like that to look forward to. And I mean, I think that that's where we land this plane. Is right now you're on a good spot. Right now we're seemingly in good hands. We will keep you guys updated as more things come out, and we're going to continue talking about it because 2027 is an awfully long way away from now, and I'm sure that more things are going to come out. If on the likely chance that Voldemort's actor gets leaked, we will be talking about it. If they announce additional cast members, we will be talking about it. But for the meantime, my strong suggestion to everybody, and Brett, you've got 2 years to figure it out, so you got plenty of time, but, you know, go read the books. I'll even loan you my books. I've got the leather-bound version of the books, so you can read them and feel all fancy when you do.
All right, fine. Now that you say that, you know, I will. Okay, right. I have the first book. I got 100 pages in, okay? I don't know why I stopped, but, you know, I started reading Perks of Being a Wallflower and I was obsessed. But I'll get on it, okay? I'll read the books and then I'll get, you know, disappointed when the show comes out. But I'm kidding. No, but like, but I'm excited for this. I think everybody is. And I think they'll do a good job. We'll keep you updated, you know, going forward. I'm so happy that Gavin is, you know, my partner in crime in this, because I would have not even gotten 10 minutes through this podcast without saying anything important. So yeah, stick with us. We'll be updating you on everything that comes out. More news is coming out ever so often. But yeah, this is a fun one to talk about, Gavin. We'll see you guys next time.